What's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes are back on a Sunday, no less, minutes after my 49ers lost to the LA Rams. But I got to do the job because we got one of the top stars in MMA. Alexander Hernandez is going to be fighting Renato Moicano at UFC 271, and it's coming up here in just a couple weeks, actually one day before the Super Bowl. Let's welcome him in. How you doing, man? Good to have you back.
No, I'm doing pretty swell. How are you boys?
Doing great. Well, not so great. I got to come clean. You know, my Niners lost. I am running on fumes, but we got to do the job. You got to turn the corner and just do the job, you know? So
I respect the professionalism, man. I respect the professionalism. I appreciate that.
What can you do? This is a big fight you got coming up against Renato Moicano. I think you're closing in on 10 fights. This might be number 9. So,
yeah.
You know, I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about closing in on 10 fights with the UFC? This is about the time where I tell people, hey, congrats. You made a career choice, and you made a career out of it. Because 10 fights in the UFC is a tip of the hat. Of course, we know you want more and you want to attain more. But so far, talk about your experience.
Yeah, man. 10 fights is a crazy thing. I actually, this last fight was my 20th fight total, amateur and pro. And so that was kind of one of those reflective moments for me where I was like, shit, you know, I mean, most of these guys have done it longer where I'm sitting, but for me, I was like, man, that's a cool reflective moment to look at 20 fights in and to look at it, 20 fights total, including my amateur career, and half of them are almost spent in the UFC, which is a crazy thing too. It's been dope, man. It's cool. It's been a roller coaster ride, right? I've pretty much grown up in the UFC, it feels like. So, you know, that's a fucking experience, I guess. That's just is what it is.
Did you get support from family and friends early on, or did you have to kind of win them over that you knew what you were doing?
Yeah, well, I had that quarter-life crisis when I was 25, and I was still working as a mortgage loan officer, and I was also fighting, but there was one point where I was like, man, I'm not even gonna do this fighting thing because I fucking suck at it. I can't perform. And so I'm just gonna make money in business and do that. And I kind of like found my hitch, kind of got my mojo. And I was like, it was this fight in San Antonio. It was an LFA card. And my coach and one of my best friends, Hand Job is his name. He wraps our hands, holds the mitts. He's like, man, we got this card. He's like, man, we got this card. They're asking for you. It's going to be televised. You got to do it. And I was like, man, this is busy season. I don't know if I could do that. And I was like, fuck it, I'll do it. And I bitched about it the whole time through. And then, 2 weeks before the fight, he's like, dude, quit bitching. You're going to do this fight either way. And afterwards, if you want to quit again, you can just quit again. Either way, I was training every day. I was training all the time, but I just wasn't competing. And he was like, after this fight, you can call it. And I was like, all right, man. So I just went there and I just went in. Like either way, I was going to be back to work on Monday. So I felt like I had nothing to lose. And I finally like let myself go. And I finally felt like I performed. And I did that. I did that a couple more times in LFA. And I was like, all right, you know what? I might be able to do this shit. And then 25 came around. And I was like, man, if I'm going to do it, I need to do it now. So quit the job, went in. My grandparents, who I'm super close with, my grandpa was like, Mijo, what are you doing? You got this. I got a great job. I was making like $200K at 24 years old. And he's like,
nice.
What are you doing? And you need to, you got something good going here. It's safe. You don't need to ruin your body. I'm like, man, I'm gonna break my body at this computer desk long before I do it in mixed martial arts or just being an athlete. And I talked to him about it, and I just told him, I believe myself. I'll have this before the end of the year. Because he's asked me, how long you gonna do it? I'm like, man, I just started this journey. Let me enjoy the liberation of it for a minute, and I think I'll be where I want to be in the UFC by the end of the year. And he gave me the blessing on it. He was like, you know what, I'm proud of you. There's a few things I wanted to do in life, and I didn't pull the trigger on it, and I think about it still. And so I was like, yeah, I don't want this to be one of those things. So I'm gonna do it, and if I'm gonna do it, I'm not gonna half-ass it. I just need to go all in, and I know it's gonna work. It just is going to work. I'm not really banking on a plan B, but I can always come back to doing this shit if I want to afterwards or do some other shit. If there's one thing that world taught me was that I can make money doing it. I could just do anything. You could just do anything. You don't have to treat it like it's life or death. But man, it worked out. 3 months later, we got the call for short notice, and fortunately, I was already in monk mode, just getting ready for another fight and prepared. I was trained, my body was ready, my mind was ready, and I got that call to fight Dariush, and it worked out. So, it's good to look back on, and it's good. It's good to see, man. I've just gone through so many like revelations through the change, from like the Cerrone loss, the COVID fight with Dober, where I decided to make a change to move out to Colorado with Factory X, and then the 3 fights I had there growing with them has been awesome. And now I feel like I'm at a place where I've got the maturity, I've got the experience finally, and I know how to fight a high IQ fight, where I didn't really know that before. I was just kind of all bull piss and testosterone, just kind of blowing out all the engines at once. Now I've got some tact to me, so that's nice.
Okay. And to be clear, you did say mortgage loans, right? You weren't a loan shark. $200K at 24. That's pretty good money, man.
I was a wolf. Believe that, dude. I was a wolf of San Antonio. Just
wow. Mortgage?
Just crushing realtors, dude. Just getting
okay.
Just doing mortgage loans for real estate, residential real estate. Just got into it. I was like, man, I slid in the door at this company and had these shoes that were way too big to fill. I had no business doing it because I was speaking to and selling people that were my parents' age. I mean, I never owned any real estate at this point in my life. I had no idea, I didn't even know what the fucking LO was. The average LO was like 52 years old if you looked it up on Google. But I just had a friend of mine's dad refer me to this guy, and the meeting went well, and the rest is sort of history. And I started out as a front desk receptionist woman, just clocking in with a skirt, and I worked my way into processing. I became an assistant LO. Then finally I became an LO, and I was just kind of doing small deals, and but I was just hustling, and I got in with this group that really liked me, and they invited me to be the lender inside their real estate company. A lot of times they partner together. You got like a real estate firm and then a mortgage firm that is sort of their nest egg.
Yeah.
And dude, I got in there, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna need you to start doing economic forecasts, weekly, and presenting at these sales meetings to everybody, and just sort of leading the way on the finance side. And I was like, okay, word. I have no idea what the fuck that means. My boss would do things like that in the last business. I didn't have any experience with this in my own, but I was like, fuck it. It seems like it's going to pay well. So I nodded my head and I agreed and just kind of played the game. And then I got to see some people do it for a couple of weeks. And then, dude, just started crushing those guys. I mean, really, dude, it was like doing stand-up comedy. I would come in with like an opener. It was like a personal story for maybe the weekend. Maybe I'd have like a, an ounce of truth to it, like maybe something that happened over the weekend, and then I'd kind of, inflate it and spin it and make it funny. And so then I'd start out with that. So they were like, okay, this kid's funny, he's personable. And I caught their attention early. And then I would segue that to something going on with whatever the message was I needed to tell them about that week. And either the fucking interest rates, appraisals, economy, whatever it is, nobody wants to hear it. It's boring. So I had to engage them somehow, and then segue whatever it was I was joking about into the message of the week. And then I'd close out with that. And then they left thinking this guy's funny, personable, and knows his shit. And man, if I didn't leave those meetings like Tom Brady out the fucking locker room getting high fives, I felt like a loser, dude. And I would have to do that every week. And man, I got so much business out of that. I got so much business out of it. And then it made me comfortable speaking. I mean, truthfully, it put me on the mic. So it was a good growing experience.
You're good. And for those that don't know, because I was also in the real estate business for a little while, LO is a loan officer. So he's doing real good, man. At 24 years of age, $200,000 a year. And next thing you know, he was LOL on his way to the bank, cashing big checks. So good for you. Now, I want to ask you, did you already have Alexander the Great, like as a nickname from when you were younger, or did you get it at any point during this career? Because I'm telling you, man, you could have maybe brought some of that over to this career and said, you know what, your mouth's in default, and I'm going to foreclose your ass next Saturday at LA.
I have to kick my own ass if I said some shit like that. Man,
you're hanging out with guys named Handjob. It ain't that bad.
Yeah,
Hey,
Man, at least
by
that's
the way,
original though, dude. I
It
remember
is.
I
It's
was
a good one. It is a good one. It is a good one.
I was sitting at the pool in Vegas at that that little fighter compound we got, that little hotel area. And Cheeto Vera was trying to bust my balls. He's like, you know what you do? You looked up top 5, Google MMA names, and you came up with the great. I was like, yeah, fuck you, dude. But I mean, pretty much, it was like I didn't have a name when I started, and I think we fought 1 or 2 fights. Maybe no, it was the first. It was the first amateur fight in San Antonio. We were walking out, and I was walking out with my dad and my uncle. It went well. We won, and we were walking out, and like, man, you need your little stage name. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what I want to be though. My dad's like, my middle name's Javier with an X, and he's like, oh, you could be like, the X Factor. And I was like, fucking X Factor, dude, Jesus. And then my uncle's like, you could be the Great, bro. Just be the Great. And I was like, I'll take the Great over the fucking X Factor. And I didn't really plan on anything. So we just took the Great and we just ran with it. But it's funny you say that, because I was playing with some things because we're going in Houston. We're gonna be back home in the Lone Star State. And I was like, man, I haven't really thought to deal with any kind of apparel in a while, especially just for the hometown boys. I'm not big time. I'm not trying to really push it online or anything, but just for the boys back home, we got a backyard fight. I want the team to represent. So I was thinking, man, what can I put out as a good shirt? And I kind of want an emblem. And I was looking at emblems, and boxers do a really good job of using their initials as emblems. And so I was kind of playing with that, and AH isn't like, I mean, I guess you can make anything cool with the right graphic designer. But man, I was trying to play with that. I couldn't really find anything that really like stung me the right way. And you look at someone like Canelo Alvarez, he's got such a distinguished brand, or even like the guy you just fought, Caleb Plant, looks really good too. His emblem's pretty sick. And I was like, man, what could be a good emblem? And I was like, dude, I already kind of got my emblem. The little fucking orangutan, dude. I love that emblem. The emoji, the orangutan emoji? I fucking love that guy, dude. He looks just like me. We're practically the same fucking dude. I'm a little ape. He's a little ape. Everybody likes to use this fucking gorilla, but it's the most plagiarized bullshit of all fucking time. Bro, I'm an orangutan. I'm a fucking ape. Just by nature. I fucking look like one. So I was like, dude, that's going to be my goddamn emblem. So I started playing with that. And I damn near almost changed my name to Alex the Ape. You heard it here first. I might do it. I might change it. Maybe not this time because I don't like to rush anything. But, I might switch. I might switch it up. I almost wish I didn't even share that right now. It's 9 p.m. It's a little late. I'm talking too much. But man, I might. I was thinking about doing a name change or something more original or just true to me. I don't know. But
can't you do both? Can't you be the Great Ape?
I could be the great. Yeah, believe me. I smoke weed too. I thought about that. But yeah, you could do the Great Ape. You could be the Ape. You could be the Great Ape. You could be the Great with an ape emblem. I don't know. I've been playing with it, but the next tees are definitely going to come out with that ape. It's already patent. You poser motherfuckers who are down there trying to take my ape name already. I'm going to come out with some apparel for the boys back home just to represent Houston for it. And I don't know, maybe on the next one we'll change the name. Who knows?
Hey, Alex, so when you look over your record, you've got some pretty good wins. You're getting this fight early, and this is another great name. Can you kind of forecast here, a win here? What does the rest of 2022 look like for you?
Fat old dub here, and man, it's so hard to say because the top's so murky because it's like it's just so political at the top, right? It's like and that was kind of the holdup when I first got on the scene. I was like waiting, and I'm like, man, I'm coming off these wins, and I'm still waiting so long, and it's like they got the chessboard at the top where they're just moving everybody based on popularity and clout and just kind of who's who. So with a big win over Renato Moicano, who's to say you can kind of jump into the top 10 or you can still kill time with anyone in the top 20. Me personally, I'm probably going to get done with this fight irregardless and get some things tuned up, surgeries and things like that. So after I beat Moicano, I'm either way going to take a minute just to tune some things up and then see wherever the pieces lie, probably in the fall of this year.
You know, you talked about two things that I found interesting: money, and then you also talked about your mentality and fighting and just really dialing it down. But when I look at your style and I look at Moicano's style, you brought up money, 50K bonus. You guys kind of have that written all over you, but at the same time, you talked about fighting smarter. Um, is it difficult to balance the two for you?
Yeah, man, it's been difficult for a long time, and I finally kind of, like I said, I kind of feel like I'm at a place now where I'm putting it all together, and so I can be violent, I can be aggressive, and I can still be poised and composed and just intelligent with my approach, man. Like I said, I used to just like it was like you gave me one of those Rhino hard dick pills from a 7-Eleven in the back, and I just fucking would shoot out the first round like a rocket. So now I'm now I'm taking name brands like Cialis and Viagra, and it's a slower burn, and I could be up all night. So that's more of like, there's probably better. Again, it's 9 p.m. There's probably better metaphors, but yeah, I can catch 50K. I can catch 50K in a more poised veteran type way, whereas before it was like, man, it was all or nothing in 4 minutes, and then I was fucking shot. I blew my load in the first round, So I finally feel like I'm beyond that.
You're gonna try and hit some singles, steal some bases, a couple doubles instead of always trying to hit a home run.
There you go. See, man, if I watch sports, but then if my internet browser was less fucking degenerative, then if I watch some good American pastime, I'd have a clean analogy like that. I'll probably steal some singles, some bases. Yeah.
There you go. All right. So look, if you think about it, like what Go's brought up, you do have some nice wins, and the one I'm isolating on is Dariush. Obviously, Dariush is probably one win away from fighting for a title, and you beat him, finished him, and I guess he went back to the drawing board, learned from that fight, and he's done some good stuff there as well. Do you think a lot of that, like what you were talking about, being a young gun, running out of the gate quickly, that now starting to match your experience and fight, being more cerebral, things like that? And so now, like, are you seeing the game in a slower motion where you kind of take your time a little?
Yeah, man. I mean, there's so much to take away from each one of the guys that I've lost because they're all so talented. Like you said, Dariush, like to take that L and then really just kind of find this mental reset and then start winning fights the way he needed to win fights. Where you saw for a while, and even now, he started exploiting his grappling advantage, and he was still getting knockouts along the way. But it was like, man, he was just fighting smart fights, but still being a dog. He wasn't cowering and skating by on splits or just getting by with mediocre decisions. He's still decisively beating guys, and and finishing guys. And it's like he just kind of had this reset mentally, a little recalibration, and then just started coming in and doing what he needed to do. And that was something I was even thinking about, like with this fight. There's so many pieces of the game that I haven't showed because I started getting like sucked into one way or the other. I had a problem back then where I would often just kind of match my opponent. If they were on the feet, I was just going to beat them on the feet. If they're on the ground, I wanted to try to beat them on the ground. And I wasn't really blending very well. I wasn't blending the game. Something I'm good at, man. I don't know if I'm the best at any particular thing. I'm far from a specialist, but I really believe that I'm among the absolute best at blending it. And it's just something that I've been like shortchanging myself on in these performances. So that's definitely something I want to exploit. With Cerrone, it was his veteranship. I had him. I was in his head going into the fight, which was the whole tactic in the first place, was to break him mentally, and I was hurting him in the beginning of the fight, but like a vet, he saw me becoming overzealous. He kept composing himself, and he was able to close the show. And it was just brilliant veteranship on his part. Dober too. Normally, I don't ever underestimate anybody, but like that guy is like night and day from the guy who lost to like a Mercier or even Dariush. I mean, he started working with Gaethje, and he recomposed himself. Also, he changed his stance. He changed his cadence. He changed the look in his eye, man. The guy's vicious, and learning from these guys, man, just seeing that people, it's not all this like rocket ship career take like this McGregor type, start to finish. It's reality, man, and it's adversity, and you gotta go through it to get to it. You gotta live and learn. And so, like I was able to take that away from each one of these guys, and it was huge. And it gave me a lot of just a lot of patience and hope for just what I could accomplish.
You know, you brought up Cowboy a couple times, and I did want to ask you, he's now fighting Joe Lazon. I don't know if you heard. Lazon hasn't fought in a minute. Cowboy also, you know, he's been slowing down, but two veterans, a lot of people respect them, and they both have fought a ton of fights. Would you like to do something like what they did and fight for almost 2 decades, or do you see a time where you want to get back to either what you were doing or something else? You know, you're like a guy that likes challenges.
No, I'm pretty much in it to just to be the best. And if I believe I can't do that at any point, then I'm just gonna go do something else, man. So, like I said, when I do it, I put everything into it. This my whole life and soul right now, and it's just gonna be. And like I said, there's not like a plan B waiting, or I'm good with where I like to place my investments and build things along the way. But I'm by no means looking at an exit strategy, but I'm also not looking at being here forever. You know, I want to be here for a purposeful time, not for this long extended time. But I mean, and that's nothing wrong to anybody else who does. I just don't want to.
Just a quick one here. When you said investments, it just made me think a lot of fighters gravitated towards Bitcoin. Others do real estate. What kind of investments do you like personally?
I think real estate's brilliant, man. I think I mean, especially right now, dude, you hear about this fucking metaverse? This shit's so crazy. You've got these motherfuckers right now buying real estate online. These virtual land plots, virtual homes. I mean, shit's ridiculous. And there's something to it. So of course I got my hand in some crypto shit because I mean, I get excited too. I get excited, but I'm not in the whole metaverse. I got this fucking creepy little brother. I love him to death. Who's like deep. He's only like 12, 13 years old. But I mean, the poor bastard grew up in this generation of just like hard gaming and just technology. And so he's, you know, he downloads me on everything that's going on in the other realm, you know, in the matrix and everything and the technology side. And he's talking about
people own like homes that are
people are buying like virtual real estate and virtual land.
Oh my God.
I guess some other asshole creates. So you've obviously heard of NFTs, right? Like pieces of art that people sell. Well, now it's not just that. Now you can buy, I mean, you can buy a fucking virtual girlfriend if you want. I mean, this kid was talking about pimping virtual hoes. And I was like, man, I see you, dude. You could be like the youngest virtual human trafficker at like 14, where you just get all these virtual little cheap girlfriends. You could be pimping them. You know, I don't condone trafficking of any sort, but you know, if they're electronic, it's hard to say that's real.
You meant adults. You meant pimping adults.
Pimping. You know, pimping. But I was like, he's like, man, like his greatest ambition's like buying enough of these like virtually created women, and I think he said creating like a vagina planet or maybe hustling them out. And I was like, man, that's crazy, but it's a wild dream that might actually come to truth, and that's a scary thing. So, man, for me, I'm keeping it simple. I'm looking at real estate. I own a gym back home with my pops, and so we try to build that. That's good. And then I've got a guy who manages like a mutual fund for me, who's kind of like my safe longevity plan that I've truthfully gotten like way too far away from in the last year. So I'm gonna put just some honest, noble investments back into him, just to remember to play the long game. Also, it's easy to get really excited and just dump all your money into shit coins and dick pic NFTs. I mean,
Rhino pills at 7-Eleven. Hey, yeah, I bought a virtual Rhino pill that you can sell people. So when someone at home's having problems, they log on, and then you go, yeah, I got one of those, and you sell them a virtual.
And if they believe they might be able to achieve, because I mean, you're not really consuming anything. But the world's not for me, man. I don't fuck with that. I'm more of that outdoor daddy, dude. That Zen master. I'd rather go play in a stream or, you know, frolic in a lightly wooded meadow. I don't really want to get too consumed by that, especially not like during times like these. Like people at the gym, they'll get so lost in the crypto, and everyone's a fucking crypto expert and a finance advisor, and I'm like, man, you still suck at fighting. Why don't you worry about this shit for a little bit longer? I mean, where is this money coming from for crypto? You still suck. So why don't we get better first, and then we'll worry about crypto shit later. But yeah, I mean, I think it's good to have your hand in a little bit of that shit. I like looking at some different tech companies, and then the guy who manages just good funds for me. And then real estate's, I mean, like the best thing you could do. And then gym, I really think like having a business of your own. And thank God I got like my dad.
Like a UFC gym?
It's called Ohana Academy. Northeast is the location. Okay. It's I started out with Jason Yarrington in San Antonio at Ohana Academy. Mm-hmm. And we opened up another one, or he's opened up. He's kind of like taking over San Antonio, truthfully. But we opened up our own, me and my dad. So
cool. Well, I'll tell you what,
like a nice
you made me laugh. You made me laugh tonight, man. You took away the sting of that 49ers loss. I'm glad we got a chance to catch up, talk with you, preview your fight a little bit with Moicano, and for the people to get to know a little bit more about you. Remember, folks, at 24, this guy was doing really good, but he decided to choose his dreams and chase his dreams. So you got to respect that. Thank you so much, Alexander, for hanging out with us tonight, man. It was a blast.
Thanks, man. I appreciate the time, boys. You guys have a good one, and God bless us 49ers. So.
Hey, you got to give a little bit of props to Handjob, though. He was responsible for the happy ending, right?
Dude, Handjob, actually, man, you've been waiting for that all fucking night, haven't you, dog? We're 26 minutes. You've been holding that in. Yeah, dude. Man, that's the truth. I'm gonna write that to him in a note right now too. I'm gonna put in a message in a bottle for him. He is responsible for the happy ending. That's one of my, you'll see more of him. He's all over my social media, but I'm bringing him out to this fight. I bring him out to every single fight. He was always in my corner, and now that I'm at Factory X, he just comes out and he's near the cage, but he's not in the corner. And he's
you got to give him a shout out.
That's a real one. John O'Rourke, man.
You got to give him a shout out. When Rogan's interviewing you or whatever. You got to give him a shout out and say something like, and I got these hand wrapped by my buddy Handjob over here and throw in that happy ending joke. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a home run.
It'll be a sensation. It'll be like this kid never stops talking about fucking dicks and happy endings is what they're going to say. But yeah, I mean, it's a good thought though. I'll work on it. I'll work on the bar.
Have a good one, Alex. Take care, man. Thanks again.
Thanks, man. You guys have a good one.